Hello, and welcome to another full circle angling episode. Today we are out on the boat fishing. We're in southwest Scotland, Luce Bay. Oh, I don't know if I was just getting a bite there. Fish clearly don't know I'm trying to do an intro here. We're out in Luce Bay, up here for the week on holiday. Finally got a good day. It hasn't been great. Tricky. I've got a couple of friends with us this week, so they've been out. We're Tope fishing primarily, but we'll be looking for hounds, small ones. You don't tend to get big ones over here. A few thornies, plenty of huss, some decent ones as well. In terms of the gear I'm using, this is a 12 to 20 Daiwa Kenzaki. That's a little bit heavier to 20-30, but they're still lovely rods. Reel wise, that's a Finno Marquesa 16. You could get away with 12 for this, to be honest. That's loaded with 50-pound spider wire, nice and strong, but also quite thin for cutting through the tide. That's tied with an FG knot to a leader of about 10 feet of 100-pound mono, and then onto the, if I can find one, onto the business end, what I use, it's about 6 foot, 150-pound mono, 6 inches, 150-pound wire, 680 hook, happens to be a circle. I do use J hooks as well, or catfish hooks, debobbed, because I don't like using bobs for much of me fishing, to be honest, as you might have seen. I like using wire. I know a lot of people say you shouldn't be using wire, you should use mono. Well, if you can guarantee that you're only going to lip hook the fish with mono every time, then yeah, I totally agree, but unfortunately you can't, and occasionally the scissors do come into play, and that's where I'd rather use wire, because I'd rather be getting the hook out of a fish rather than it biting through. Anyway, personal preference. I like to use a length of mono that's arguably maybe touch too short. That is likely to be longer than the length of Tope that you might catch, because they've got very, very sharp, rough, sandy skin. They will occasionally twist around, especially when you get them to the boat. So you just want something that's got plenty of abrasion resistance. And also, when you do get into the side of the boat, 150-pound mono is a lot easier to get hold of than, say, 70 or 80, especially if you're handling quite a few fish. I tend to have a pair of workman's gloves when I'm bringing fish to the boat, just to protect your hands. So that's the gear. Bait, quite simple, just either a head and shoulders mackerel or the tail end, nicked through the head or the tail, because I'm using barbless hooks, and sometimes what will happen is if there's any sort of spin in the bait, or a dogfish or something's playing around with it, it can quite easily come off. So I just like to get a little bit of rubber onto the hook, obviously bait on first, and that's nice and tight, and that'll just stop your bait from sliding off the hook. And what happens is, if you get a fish, your bit of mackerel or whatever has been ripped to bits, and that bit of rubber, if it's quite heavy rubber, will survive it, and you'll still get that back. So that's the setup. Hopefully I can come back to you with a fish. I'll have to apologise for the audio on some of the clips that you're seeing, because when we've been getting decent fish to the boat, I just can't risk getting them audio equipment anywhere near it, as you can probably appreciate. So some of the audio mightn't be the best off the GoPro, but hopefully the main thing is you can see some of the fish that this place is capable of producing. So Definitely got an enquiry on this rod, but missed whatever it was. Yeah, it's probably just a doggy. You see, he's just been wrestling with the bottom of that, just nipping the bottom of the bait off. Yes, I know you want it, but I'm sorry, it's going back down. Got to be on your guard with these gulls, especially the great blackbacks. What I'm having to do with this reel, because if I put that completely out of gear, there's that much tide, it'll just tear off. So I'm having to just put the lever up, so it's giving it that bit more pressure. Not enough for the tide to take it, but it's easily enough if a bigger fish wants to pick it up and run with it. Not ideal, I know, because really you don't want the fish to feel any resistance, but the flip side is you just end up with 300 yards of braid down tide, and it's not what you want. So, and to be honest, if a tope comes in, feeds hard, generally, especially if he's moving with that tide, he'll pick it up and run, and I'm not even sure he'd feel that much resistance, even with that a little bit tighter. In terms of the boat, she is a Raider 18 Fisherman, powered by a 140 Suzuki. So when you've got 3-4 people on the boat, a bit of tide, it still goes along quite nicely. And that's what I do. Head and shoulders, mackerel, little bit of rubber to stop it sliding off. Nice sharp, strong hook, and away you go. Very, very simple stuff. One thing you've got to be careful of when you're handling tope and huss, skin, just like a dogfish, very, very sandy. So I always try and wear long sleeves and gloves when I'm handling them, because otherwise you do pick up a bit of tope rash like that. That's, I don't know if you can see that, the lights behind it, but that's fairly mild, but it can get a lot worse. Like a couple of nicks and grazes from a huss earlier as well, and it's very painful. So if you can, a pair of gloves, long sleeves is what you want. That went off like a train. I think with his mouth open. Just sitting in the tide. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Nice size.
Feel the rod creaking.
Yeah, got some colour there.
Looks like a whale.
I'll just keep it. It's going to be a little bit careful. This is good. Nice fish. Is the tape measure there?
There's one in it.
Nice fish. Good start of the day.
God.
164 centimetres.
So strong.
There we go.
Slide into the tide.
Right. Get rid of this.
Yeah. Got one.
What's up?
Might be alright there. Might be alright.
Are you both in?
A couple of them run past.
Coming now.
Not a big fish at all.
Strong though.
Strong.
This should be entertaining. Yeah, pass it back.
It looks so nice in the water, don't they?
Is that way?
Foul hook just underneath.
Yeah.
But he's away. You've got Tope number 3.
Keep winding.
Right, just a second, kid. Yeah, you're underneath. That's right.
Right, pressure on.
I'll just see if you can guide him around this side. I might just go a little bit. Come over to the right if you can, a little bit.
Oh, they can see you.
Good fish, good fish.
Okay, let him a little bit of a line off.
Little line.
Right, you got him.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, okay. Well done. Right.
Oh yes!
Oh!
Yeah, got into him. Got him? Yes!
This is number 5.
Boom! I'm gonna throw that out there now. There you go.
Got it.
Red.
There he is. Lovely.
Let me get that lead grab.
Yeah. There he is. Lovely.
Okay.
Good fish. Kyle.
Earlier on, been down to mark called the Scares, which is well, it's actually several big lumps of rock. One particularly large one. There's a huge colony of gannets on there. And it's quite an amazing thing to see, really, if you do get a chance to come over here and you do get a nice day where you can head out, because it's about, I don't know, it's probably 6 miles off the end of the Mull. Seen dolphins up here as well in Luce Bay, and you get plenty of seals, a lot of bird life, so it's a lovely place to come if you do get the opportunity. Henry, do you want to pass this one? Oh, right, here, keep his head in the water because he'll snap off. Yeah. That one. Lovely fish. Although actually he's probably quite well hooked in.
Ian, or?
Yeah, do you want to just be safe and get a nice picture?
He's looking at me right in his eye.
Nice pollock. Well, that's the end of the week. We've had some good fish. Really nice big female for Thea the other day. It's been good, it's been nice to get back over here. So, as always, thanks very much for watching. It is appreciated. Thanks for subscribing. Tight lines, keep fishing. We'll see you on the next one.